All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our basic Career Center information session, our virtual session, talking to you all about our Career Center services and resources and all the great things that we have to offer to students. Just a quick introduction. My name is Courtney Carter. I am one of the CTE counselors here at RCC, but I also wear a couple other hats myself. Of course, in this setting in which I'm here with you, I have the hat of Career Center Coordinator. So I've actually been in this role for about 4 years now. It's This role is more of a 3-year term for chosen counselor, one of our counselors in our area. So I did a 3-year term initially, early on when I first got here, and then I was selected for my second 3-year term here. So I'm about in my second year of that second 3-year term. I really enjoy this work. Career Center work really is sort of life planning work for you all and to help students really figure out their direction and really make some good decisions now, right? So that you can be in a good place to accomplish all of your life goals. That could be work goals, that could be your own personal goals, that could be your own professional development goals, right? We spend a lot of time at work throughout our life, so you really want to be mindful about the direction that you want to go into and how you're going to spend a lot of that time in the work world, or what we call the world of work, more specifically, once you finish your education, and also thinking about what you do now in preparation for that work. So all of that is very important here, okay? As I said, I've been in this role for quite some time, since about 2021. The other hat that I do wear is as Guided Pathways Coordinator. In that role, it's pretty much focused on really intentionally looking at the student experience while they're here at RCC. What does the onboarding to RCC look like? How is it getting into classes? How are you supported as students holistically moving through your experience here at RCC? And then, of course, what ways can the college support you in making sure that you graduate, right? Because that's the ultimate goal, seeing all of you graduate with your certificates, your degrees. Many of you want to transfer. Many of you want to get into the jobs of your dreams, right? And careers of your dreams, more specifically. So we really look forward to helping you not only in the Career Center, but also more broadly as the college here. So again, thank you for being with us today. Let me go to the next screen here. So today we're going to be talking about the following topics that you see on your screen. So I did my welcome already in my introduction. Again, great seeing you all here. We're going to talk a little bit about career decision making, and specifically, we want to show you all the model in which we follow that allows us to support you all through the career decision making process. So we really want you all to have a good understanding of that, or as best of an understanding that you can have in our short time that we have together today. Because if you do work with us, we typically work through this model to assist you with making the right career and major decisions here at the college, and on, and therefore, and there forward. The next thing we'll go into is the resources and specific services from our center, right? What do we offer you as students? And we're going to get a little bit more hands-on with that section. So I want to take you all to our website. Our website has all the information you need. You just need to know how to look around it. We have it organized in a nice structured way that's linked to the career decision-making model. So I want to show you those connections and introduce you to many of the resources and services that we offer. And then we'll go into our closing and hopefully hear some questions from you all that I definitely look forward to answering. Okay. So here we go. We're going to hop right on in. Perfect. I'm going to move you all over to my other screen. Perfect. All right, so first we're going to talk a little bit more about the career decision-making process. So what you all see in front of you here is actually the career planning survey. Many of you saw this when you went through the new student orientation video module. So some of you might remember this system and what it looks like. because many of you, maybe not all of you, but many of you had to do that new student orientation video modules. It's about an hour of videos that we ask students to do who are brand new to college, who are brand new to RCC. There's 5 surveys in those video modules, and this is one of them, the career planning survey. This survey actually comes back to us here in the Career Center because it allows us to know and see where most of our new students are in relationship to their career decision making. And it's one simple question. You see it here. Please select the option. It's actually a statement. Please select the option that best describes how you feel about career decision making. You either can choose the first answer there. I have not spent much time thinking about my career goals or deciding what I want to do in my future. That's how we title students who are still in the undecided realm, right? They haven't looked into many assessments. They haven't looked into many careers and majors just yet. And they're still looking for that exploration that could be very beneficial to them to help them make decisions. So the students that are in that first block who selected that, we typically title our students who are still undecided. Even though you selected a major and program of study here with us, in their heart, they still feel like they're undecided, right? So we titled them our undecided block of students. That second answer, I have done some research and narrowed down my options for which career I would like to pursue, but I have not yet made a firm choice. Those are somewhat decided students. Those are students that, we also titled them our maybes, right? They have done a little bit of research, looked into some careers. They might have a handful of options that they are interested in or at least have looked at, but they have not pinpointed it and made that firm choice on the direction they want to go. Again, even though they're in a program of study and pathway here with us, it doesn't mean students are fully committed, right, to that pathway. So for those students in that realm, we typically title them our somewhat decided or maybe students. Now, the last one, that's the option that says, I am certain about which career field I would like to enter at this time. I selected a major and I've identified jobs of interest in that field. Those are students who have done their homework already. They've looked at various pathways. They maybe have talked to professionals in certain fields. They've done, probably hours of research and looking around on the websites, informative websites, and websites that can give them details about pay ranges for certain careers, the job outlook to make sure there are jobs in the field that they want to go into by the time they graduate, so on and so forth. So we title those students our decided students, right? They know in their heart and they're committed to the pathway, right? And they've done homework to confirm it, right? So those are decided students. Now that we know what that survey looks like, I do want to share with y'all typical information that we get from that career planning survey. So in any given time, when I pull the data, it's usually a 50-50, close to a 50-50 split. Typically around 50% of students are pretty decided, right? They're decided on their pathway. They feel like they've done enough homework. They feel in their heart they know their pathway. The other half is typically a combination of those undecided and somewhat decided, those maybe students, right? And you're seeing sort of that close breakdown here within this time frame that I pulled some data. So you're seeing here, I just pulled a 3-week period from earlier this year, March 17th to April 6th. There was about 278 new student orientation videos and career planning surveys viewed and completed at that point in time within those 3 weeks. And during that time, around 54% of students, incoming students at that time, qualified as being undecided or somewhat decided within their major. So that's about 150 students out of 278, which brings to that 54% that were still unsure, that had not made a firm choice on their pathway. We share this, right? So that you all know that most students, right, including many of you in here, but most students aren't completely sure of their pathway. And we want to share this so that we can emphasize the importance, right? The importance of really doing that career exploration, really doing that career research on pathways. Because my hope and the hope of many of the representatives in our area and at the college is that you all go into pathways that you're really, career pathways and careers generally, that you're really passionate about, right? That you really look forward to getting into. And then that provides also clarity for all the work you're going to be doing here at this college, RCC. And for many of you who transfer, it clarifies the reason why you're doing all that work, some of those late nights, that you're doing homework, all those projects and tests. It provides clarity, right, on why you're doing all of that. So this is just us, setting that stage for you all to see and understand that most students start off undecided or uninformed. And again, you can work to being decided with a lot of the resources and support services that we offer here at the Career Center and throughout the college at RCC. So what we want to do now is talk about how we help students, especially those students who are still undecided, feel undecided, and the students who are somewhat decided, right, have not made a firm choice. What you're seeing here in this screen is our career decision-making model that we follow here at the college. There's 7 steps, as you can see, all the way from step 1, decision awareness, step 2, self-assessment, step 3, gather information, step 4, evaluating your options, step 5, deciding, step 6, making a decision, right? Excuse me, making a plan after you've decided, and step 7, pretty much going and achieving, right? Your academic pursuits and your goals. So when you're looking at steps 1 through 3, that's really where you're figuring out a few things. You're figuring out your why, right? Why you're in college, why you're interested in taking this step, how this step matches with ultimately many of the life goals that you have. So an examination of where you've been, where you are now, and where you hope to go in the trajectory of your life, right? So that's really needed in order to figure out your why, right? Why you've made the effort, right, to become a student here at RCC and go through this process. In steps 1 through 3, you're also assessing your values, right? And by that, we mean your values, your preferences, your skills, your interests, right? And usually that's done within a self-assessment, that step 2 area. Our Career Center here has many both formal assessments and informal assessments. So I can break down a little bit more of what that means in the coming slides, but the assessments help do a couple things. They help you examine, again, your values, your interests, your skills, your personality, all of that good stuff. But it takes all that and it allows you to see how all of that matches with careers and occupations that are out there today, right? So it does that double duty, explores yourself, and then it matches it to typical preferences and skills and all that of people in those occupations and jobs now today. So that can give any student a glimpse at what the options are out there, right, in the various different industries and the various different roles that are out there, right? And then step 3, so once you've done an assessment in step 2, step 3 is gathering more information, doing more of that career exploration and that research. So the self-assessment helps you identify some occupations and careers. And then you want to take that information, identify the ones that sound of interest to you from your report in the self-assessment. And then you want to go toward doing more research. What is that job outlook? What is the pay? Where are those jobs typically located, right? If because if you don't want to move away, then that might not be the best way, best career to follow, right? How much education and training is needed, right? What are the daily tasks of that job? So on and so forth. So that's a part of that gathering information. Once you roll into steps 3, 4, and 5, right, especially 4 and 5, that's where you're doing that exploring the careers, critically evaluating the options and making a choice. So once you've done step 3, gathering information, hopefully you've narrowed it down to about 3 to 5 options at max, right? And then in step 4, you're going to evaluate those options based on your life goals. That's why you wanted to do all of that in decision awareness step 1. Which of these career options are going to best meet your interests, your personality, your skills, and your life goals? And you want to personally do that examination to evaluate those careers, those 3 to 5, right? And then once you've done that evaluation, and the cool thing about step 4 is we have a worksheet that helps students examine all of these different aspects of opportunities out in the world. And then from there, from that evaluation, it puts you in a better place to make a solid decision on your career, right? On the career path that you like, or at least your top two at that point, right? And then you roll into step five, you decide on it, right? Based on that analysis that happens in step four. Step five, you decide. Step six, you want to make a plan. So making sure you have your student education plan that outlines your pathway moving forward. And then number seven, you achieve, right? That's where you go and do the work now. And especially because you have the clarity of what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? It provides that little bit more motivation and focus, right? On getting the classes done, keeping going with the marathon, a bit of a marathon of education, right? Needed for you to get into the career opportunities that you're looking for, right? So that's all the career decision-making model. Many students who come and work with us, they're somewhere within step one to step four, right? Sometimes, those decided students, that 50%, from the last chart, sometimes they're at step seven, and then they realize this isn't the path I want, right? So then we have to go back maybe to step two and figure out, hey, what are other options out there? So know that this is a bit more fluid, right? This is circular, and that a person could be confident one day, not confident another. So then going through that research process can help an individual make the best choice, right? That's why this is the career decision making, right? So I wanted to take you all through that, right? And then I want you to remember this piece because when we go to our website, some of the sections in our website pertain to some of the steps here on the career decision making model. That's how we developed our website. So it's pretty cool connection there. Now I want to roll into some of the resources and services from the Career Center before we jump into our website to get specific into some of those resources and support. So on this page, on this slide, excuse me, y'all are able to see a QR code. When you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to our RCC website. So that'll be a quick way for you to get there. You can also just type in the short URL at the bottom, the www.rcc.edu/career center. It'll take you right to our Career Center webpage on the RCC website. So just wanted to touch on that really quick. Typically, career centers help out in two areas, two cluster areas is what I typically call it. On one end, we assist with career exploration and planning support and those life goals, right? That life planning. And that's on what you see on the left here, that bubble on the left in those resources. And then on the right, you see the career readiness and job seeking support resources. And both of those are important within the career journey, right? And what individuals need to consider, right, as they move through their academic and career journey. So on the left, just to touch on this a little bit with some of the resources and support we offer, for career exploration and planning support, we offer just general planning assistance right in those areas, introducing some resources to you that you can utilize both directly working with us and indirectly on your own time and space, right? We also have various career assessments. I mentioned that a little earlier, but I'll touch a little bit more on this. On our website, you all will see we have various informal assessments. And the way we describe informal assessments are the ones that you can freely take online on your own time that are pretty short, around 15 minutes max, 20 minutes max. There's many assessments out there that give you some good, right, information back to make some first initial steps. And that's where those informal assessments come into play. If you want some insight without spending much time into it, those informal assessments will work for you. The formal assessments are the ones that are a bit more holistic and in-depth. So a formal assessment typically will take an individual about 45 minutes to an hour to complete over 100 questions to answer. And in those formal assessments, you'll get a report back, right? So the report will specifically touch on your personality characteristics, your interests, your values, maybe even your grit scores, right? Some of our assessments provide you a grit score, which talks about sort of your interest and ability in working through barriers and hard times, right? So, we have assessments that work through that. And they also, on the other end, share with you certain occupations and career clusters that might be a good fit based on your personality and interests and skills. So for many students, especially if they don't have any idea of pathways, those career pathways and academic pathways that are good for them, career assessments can be a good tool to open the door to all the avenues that might be a good fit, and then they can do career exploration from there. Spend, more time and more hours, right, doing that research to help see which of those career pathways and educational pathways more resonate with them, right? So that's a little bit more about assessments, especially for the formal assessments as well. In addition, you also need an interpretation with those. So typically when you take a formal assessment, you'll come back and meet with a counselor here at RCC, usually me here in the Career Center or one of our representatives, and we talk through your scores a bit more to ensure that you have a good understanding of the report that you received, right? It's very important to understand that report clearly so that you can examine it and analyze it appropriately moving forward. We also offer career coaching and counseling, just generally, depending upon what an individual's goals are. We host many career events and workshops, and you'll see a list of those events and workshops on our website. We'll be able to show you that today. And then we help students utilize some career research tools on our website, like our Career Center Online Canvas Shell, our Eureka system, what can I do with this major, and many other resources along those career exploration and planning support areas. Now, on the right is more the career readiness and job seeking support. So we have various resources that students can utilize in that realm there. The Career Closet is one great resource for students, especially students who are actively putting themselves into professional situations, right? Professional networking situations, interviews, those situations where you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward, right? With how you're representing yourself and your work ethic and all that kind of stuff. So we have a career closet that provides professional clothing and professional attire. You can get up to 2 pairs of professional clothing, right? Full outfits, professional outfits per semester at the career closet. It's all gently used clothing. Donated by our community, specifically our RCC community and the greater community. We also have a job board called Handshake, and Handshake is a great tool for students who are job searching because Handshake is specifically for our district students and alumni. So instead of looking at the LinkedIn jobs and looking at the Indeeds of the world, right? Those job boards are for anyone to utilize, right? Anyone in the community, anyone in the nation, right? To utilize. Our Handshake account is specifically for students in our district at RCC, Moreno Valley College, and Norco College, as well as alumni from those 3 colleges in our district. So it's more sort of specific and fine-tuned. Employers post jobs to Handshake for you all to view, again, as students and as future alumni. So it's a great tool to sort of look at opportunities that employers specifically want to put in front of you all to consider, right? So a great tool there. For LinkedIn Learning, I did want to give a general announcement about that one. So we've generally had LinkedIn Learning over the past handful of years. We actually do not have LinkedIn Learning access any longer for our students. That contract finalized over the past year, and it wasn't able to be renewed by our colleges. So I just wanted to update. I kept that here because I wanted to update folks who might have been in it before. It is now no longer available for students. Now, you can still utilize LinkedIn, right, for free, right? Many folks can utilize LinkedIn for networking and developing your profile and making professional connections. But LinkedIn Learning is their educational platform where there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of videos that they have for additional training and development, right? So that's what we're talking about with LinkedIn Learning. But you will see many events from us that still focus on helping students with their LinkedIn profile development and using networking, using LinkedIn for networking and all that good stuff. We also provide employment search assistance and resources. So for many students, we talk to them about Handshake and potentially the general job boards, how to filter those, how to look for opportunities in general in the community, internships full-time, part-time opportunities, and all of that. So we have resources to show individuals and to assist them in that search. And then, of course, we help individuals with resume, cover letter, and employment prep resources as well. So that summarizes our career readiness and job speaking area as well. So now I do want to show you all some of our informational flyers that we have that reflect our Career Center resources. It'll be similar to some of the things that I showed you here, but also some of our events that we typically want to host, that we will host, excuse me, this fall. So let me show you that. So this is our regular Career Center flyer. It's 2 pages, but this is our, if you come to our space in person, definitely students can get this Career Center flyer. It is useful in that it has many QR codes. So students can scan, for example, this first QR code on the front, which takes a student directly to our appointment and drop-in information on our website. So it makes it a little bit more streamlined to get to the sections of our website that are most useful for students, depending upon their situation and the support that they need. You're seeing on the first page here as well the career exploration resources and support we offer, and the career readiness support and resources that we offer. I know we went over that already. And then on the second page, on the back of this handout, we have more QR codes that take students directly to our major and career assessments. I know we talked a bit about that already. That QR code helps students go directly to that section of our website. We have a QR code that helps students go right to our events and presentations section of our website. And then same thing, QR code that takes students to employment opportunities and resources section of our website as well. That is where you'll find information on Handshake. That's where you'll find information on how to develop a resume and cover letter. It actually takes you directly to the section that you need to look at in our Career Center Canvas page, and other information along the lines of employment services and resources as well. So that's our Career Center handout. This next handout, let me make this a little smaller. This next handout is our Career Center events, all event handout for the fall 2025. So this shows you all the events specifically for the month of September and the month of October. There is one November event here, which is our Career Expo. That's going to be our culminating event. That will finish out all of our events for the fall semester happening in November. And November is also National Career Development Month, so we'll show you all that flyer here in a second as well. So this shares the information sessions that we're going to have this semester. Of course, the one that you all are attending today. So great work. Yay. Again, good to see you all. We'll also have another information session next week. So that'll be our Unlocking Opportunities, Winning Approaches to Your Job Search. That session will break down the job search sort of into helpful steps so folks can actually really think through sort of how they will search out good, meaningful job opportunities, right, for themselves. So that'll be a virtual presentation that I'll be facilitating next week. So feel free to attend that, y'all, if that's something that's of interest to you. We also have a lot of our Ready to Work Wednesday sessions that we're going to be continuing with. So you see, we'll have about 7 of those Ready to Work Wednesday sessions this semester. They're always on Wednesdays from 11 to 1 p.m. starting tomorrow, Wednesday, September 10th. And the last one will be Wednesday, October 29th. So you see all the dates in there for that one right here, right? So tomorrow, then next week on the 17th, and then it'll jump to October 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. So all the October Wednesdays will have the Ready to Work Wednesdays. That'll all happen in our Career Center here. So these sessions are in person. So definitely feel free to join us for those. At those sessions, they're just drop-in sessions. So students will come in, and it's just provides an opportunity for students to work on resume, cover letter, job searching. If anyone's preparing for interviews, We'll have our representatives here assisting students with any of those areas on a drop-in basis. These are working sessions, right? So pretty much we want everybody to come into these and be prepared to start working on whatever they want to work on. It might be your first resume. You might have an interview coming up and you just want to talk about strategies, all that good stuff. So that's what Ready to Work Wednesdays is all about. And then we'll have two employer-related presentations. One will be from an organization, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, that facilitates a workplace mentoring program. So we actually had our first cohort of students go through their workplace mentoring program over the last academic year, and it was very well received by our students. So we're going to have them present again on the program. So if any of you are interested in having more active workplace mentors in your network in general, then I would highly suggest you come to this virtual session. This will be on that last Tuesday of the month, Tuesday, September 30th. And then we have our other employer presentation, which will be Caltrans. So they'll be presenting to our students and talking about their internship programs, their other employment opportunities at the Tuesday, October 28th session. This will be in person. It will be over here in the Charles A. Kane building, room 140. It's actually a room that's right outside of the front sliding doors. And they'll be presenting students in person that day. So that'll be a great session. We like having Caltrans here with us because they have plenty of great opportunities, especially as the state continues to look in our transportation systems. And then we are hosting or co-hosting two fairs and expos this semester. One will be our STEM Connections Career and Transfer Expo. So for those of you who are STEM majors, that'll be taking place on Thursday, October 16th from 11 to 2. It'll be right outside the Math and Science building in that breezeway that connects the Math and Science building to the library. So it'll be in that walkway. That's always been a really fun and happening event. Plenty of things to learn and visit tables that are hosted by faculty in each of the STEM departments. You'll be able to connect with many of the STEM related clubs and organizations. You'll be able to connect with admissions counselors from many of the 4 years in the area who have STEM programs that many of our students transfer to. And then you'll also be able to meet with summer research institutions and organizations and learn about their application process to participate in those summer research or opportunities. And that'll be summer research for next summer, 2026, okay? And then I mentioned the Career Expo. That'll be our final event for the semester. That'll be happening Thursday, November 13th over on Terracina Drive. We typically have around 30, 35 employers show for that, and students will be able to speak directly to employers, learn more about their organizations, their employment opportunities, and their organizations in general, right? For either current opportunities at that point or future opportunities once you graduate, either from RCC or if you're a transfer from your four-year university. Couple more flyers. So this one here is our National Career Development Month flyer. So this shows all of the events specifically that we are hosting in the month of November, which is traditionally National Career Development Month. That's a sort of month and a topic area that's focused on throughout the country in the month of November. So we'll have 5 events that month. We'll have our Career Center open house on November 4th. That'll be on Tuesday, November 4th. We'll have Rock Your LinkedIn Profile virtual presentation on Wednesday, November 5th. On Monday, November 10th, we'll have our Dress for Success event. So students will be able to visit the Career Closet. If you're looking for professional outfits and clothing, you'll be able to look for it at that point in time. Or you can just check out the space, learn more about it for future reference, right? On Wednesday, the 12th of November, we'll have our LinkedIn Ready Wednesday. So instead of Ready to Work Wednesday, we'll have our LinkedIn Ready Wednesday, where students will be able to drop into the Career Center and work on their LinkedIn profile and or get assistance with networking, right? Using the LinkedIn system, right? Professional social media system. So that'll be Wednesday, November 12th. And then on Thursday, November 13th, will be our Career Expo. And again, that'll be on Terracina from 11 to 2. This is also listed on our all events flyer, but it's specifically an event also to highlight National Career Development Month. And then I know I mentioned Caltrans already, but we have one specific flyer for Caltrans. Again, that's happening on Tuesday, October 28th. We'd like to have a big turnout for that employer coming to our college to present to our students. And as I mentioned, they'll be discussing job opportunities at Caltrans, their assistant program, as well as their volunteer program. So a lot of good things to learn from them. So definitely please try to attend that if you are available. Okay. All right. So now we want to get a little bit more hands-on here, and we want to go to our Career Center website. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to look at our Career Center webpage. Can y'all give me a thumbs up? Make sure you see my screen again. I want to make sure we're staying connected here. And give me okay. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Yadira. Thank you all. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. So right now I'm on the rcc.edu website, right? To get to the Career Center website, of course, many of you might have scanned that QR code, but you can also get to it by hovering over Student Support, clicking on Career Center, and it'll take you here to the website. You can also click on the magnifying glass, right? Type in Career Center, boom, and then you'll see some options here, which the first one will be our Career Center. So however you want to get there, whichever way works for you. Once we're there, it has some basic information, our email address, our location in the Kane building, but I do want to highlight this area here. So we call this our matrix. The matrix on the Career Center webpage allows you to go directly to a specific section on our webpage to look at those resources, right? So if you want to look at our career workshops and events in that section of the web page and the list of those opportunities, you would just click the career workshops and events. If you want to learn about our advisor and counseling appointments, when those are and how do you schedule, you want to click there. If you want to look at our major and career assessments section and look at both the informal and formal assessments, you'd click here, right? We have a suite of assessments that you can review. So, and then we have three more down here, career research and skill building. We have employment opportunities and resources, and we have recruiters and employers. So this is specifically for any employers in the community and recruiters in the community who want to connect with us. So students really aren't looking at this option. It's mostly these first five, right? Let's start with the career workshops and events section. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to take us right down to that section, right? The career workshops and events section. Now, I know I showed you all the flyers, so I'm not going to go through all of these, but just know everything you saw on the flyer will also show up here in the Career Center upcoming events list. And when you click on any of these, right? So for example, today's event, it takes you to a page where you'll learn more about it, right? A description. And then here's that Zoom registration link. So many of you filled out the registration form, sent you the Zoom link, and then you went from there, right? So all of the events will take you to a page like that. So remember, we have our Ready to Work Wednesday session tomorrow in the Career Center in the Kane building, right? So it gives you the location of that. And here's a description of that event, right? So you can look at any of our events. On our website, it just gives you a short list. So it's only showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events, right? But then you can go to the See More Events tab, and you'll see all of our events that are listed for the semester. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, it keeps going, right? For all the events we have posted right now. And then just note we're in process of getting 2 more events posted, which you won't see on here just yet. It's that STEM Connections Career and Transfer Expo and the Career Expo. So both of those will be posted for you all to view on the college calendar soon. So you'll be able to see those here over the next week or so, okay? We also have some recorded workshops. When you go into our Career Center Canvas shell, if you go into previous semesters, you'll be able to see any recorded presentations or workshops that we've done thus far. So just know you can reference that. Any employers that have come and presented, any presentations like this that you want to review again, you'll be able to see that from past semesters as you roll into the future. Now, here is our advisor and counseling appointments. And so here you'll see both our virtual drop-in hours, which we have those on Mondays and Thursdays, and there's the Zoom link and the passcode for you to go into those. Note these aren't too busy, y'all. So if you have any quick questions related to your career and your pathway, definitely hop into these because it's usually a whole lot quicker getting connected with us than some other offices throughout campuses. So definitely feel free to utilize these as a first go, especially if you have some quick questions. Now, if you want your own set time through an appointment, you'd want to access our Career Center appointments section. Here are all the topics that we cover in an appointment. So our career assessments review. So if you do one of those formal assessments, this is what you would select to get an interpretation from one of our representatives. If you just want a review of resources and to explore career and major generally, you would click this 30-minute meeting. This is typically a 45-minute meeting if you want to do a deeper dive into evaluation, assessment, and planning. We have appointment topic areas for job search to help you develop your resume, cover letter, and professional development, document development, interview strategy and prep, and we do mock interviews. Just note for those who are interested in interview preparation, we typically suggest students do the interview strategy and prep first so that you can really think through what your selling points are, right? When you get into an interview, you want to make sure you have all of your, quote unquote, ducks in a row, right? You want to make sure that you know and understand your best skills and examples of traits that you've utilized in the past that reflect the good work that you'll do in the future, right? So that's where that interview strategy and prep session is hugely important. And then once an individual has that figured out, then we can do a mock interview because then you know what you need to say and you're practicing what you need to say in the mock interview. So just for those who might be interested in that interview strategy, here's where you'll click to make an appointment. So it'll take you to our booking system. And then in our booking system, you'll have the option to look at all of those topic areas and see appointments for those topic areas. Okay, so you see you'll select which topic area you want to view times for, right? And then you'll be able to see those down low with the different times that are available, right? So that's how you'll look and see times here, boom, boom. And then here's where you'll put your info. You'll put your student ID, email, and all of that good stuff. And then you can let us know if you want an in-person meeting, a virtual meeting, or a phone meeting. So I just wanted to show everybody that for the appointments. And then we typically don't make the ed plans through our area, right? We help students figure out their pathway. And then after that, when students are comfortable and confident in their pathway, then it'd be important to make a student education plan with your pathway counselor in order to figure out what classes you need and all that good stuff. Now, the sections that we're going to move into now are specifically related to many of the steps in the career decision-making model. So here is where we have our suite of assessments listed. So we have our Eureka system, which is actually a system that we subscribe to as a college and offer to you all for free. So if you make your own account and profile, you'll be able to access a number of assessments through the Eureka system, including True Colors and including micro skills. All of those are assessments that can help you, that provide you with information on good career paths for you to follow based on your interests, skills, and values, right? So that's a whole California career information system. If you want to utilize that, and that's an informal assessment. There's also the career coach assessment, the 16 personalities assessment, and the California Career Zone assessment. All of those are also informal assessments. Take you maybe 15, 20 minutes max to complete, and it'll give you some information back on good careers that that they would suggest for you to pursue. Now, for those that are interested in those more holistic, formal assessments, that's the information that you see here, right? And we have multiple formal assessments. We have the Myers-Briggs, we have the Strong Interest Inventory, the I Start Strong, and the Best Fit Career Finder. Note that some students are like, I want to do them all, right? And that's actually not the most beneficial way to go. Um, Three of these have utilized the same theorist, John Holland. The Holland interest environments it is the theoretical approach that is utilized to give students suggestions on their pathway for these three assessments. So it doesn't make sense to do all three of those assessments. We typically suggest either the Strong Interest Inventory or Best Fit Career Finder for students. If they want more of a focus on occupations and career pathways to pursue. For a student that really wants to examine their personality, right, and how they work, we really advise the Myers-Briggs. And that's a great assessment. Many of you might have taken it before in high school and some sort of institution in the past. And students who want to take a holistic assessment might do both the Myers-Briggs and the Strong, or the Myers-Briggs and the Best Fit Career Finder. So that would be a good approach, an okay approach, just to get an idea of a holistic view of both personality, an individual's personality, and a good pathway to pursue. So these are our formal assessments, right? Has information on how to request them, right? But we typically want to talk to a student. A counselor or an ed advisor should talk to one of you first to figure out which assessment makes the most sense for you. And then you work with us to identify which one's a good fit. So typically you want to talk to us first, and then we'll help you decide on that, okay? Then we have the career research and skill building. So all of this up here works with step 2, that career assessment, right? That self-assessment in the career decision-making model. The career research and skill building section is pretty much for students in step 3 and step 4, right? That are looking to gather information, so do that exploration, as well as do more of an evaluation, right? Evaluating those options. So we have some great resources here. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to highlight what can I do with this major and the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So the What Can I Do with This Major is a great resource for students who might have a love for one subject area. For me, it was psychology, right? I really wanted to pursue psychology, but I didn't know what jobs or industries or careers that I could go into. I didn't necessarily want to be a psychologist, right? Or a therapist, right? So I wanted to know what other pathways I could go into. Well, this is a resource that one of my mentors showed me when I was an undergrad in college, and it really helped me identify what other areas I could work in. So let's say some of you are like me, you're looking to know what can you do with a psychology bachelor's degree, right? Well, you can work in human services, right? Counseling, psychotherapy, case management, right? Physical health, performance enhancement. Here's employers for all of these different types of career pathways and career options, the types of employers you'll probably work for. And then it gives you strategies, best strategies on how to be a competitive applicant for this types of roles, right? And that's just in human services. You could look and work in the research, right? You can work in education. You can work in human resources with psychology major, or you can work in business and industry. And it gives you that information, the types of roles, right? Types of employers, they'll hire you and pay you, and then the strategies. And then the cool part about this, in addition, is that it gives you some basic information below that'll also support your decision making and getting more training and education. And then they have more links looking at professional associations. This links you to the Occupation Outlook Handbook, which is another link I had in that section, right? Occupation Outlook Handbook, which is another career research tool, right? It links to some jobs specifically in that handbook. Here's some other related resources and employment opportunities. So let me just show you all, also while we're here, Occupational Outlook Handbook. So let's say someone was looking at school and career counselors, right? Takes you to the handbook for school and career counselors, and it shows you amount folks make per year, shows you the amount of the employment change. So it's plus 13,000 roles between 2024 and 2034, right? So good, as fast as average growth, which is good, right? You can learn about more about what they do in this role, the work environment they typically work in, how to become one, pay, job outlook, and so on and so forth. So this is one of those other resources that helps you gather information, right? Step 3 in our model, and then step 4, figuring out more of the evaluation of those options, right? So that's here where you can go to our Occupation Outlook Handbook and search any job, right? Let's say engineering, right, is something you're looking at. Shows you different engineering and architecture occupations, right? And then you can click on any of these to learn more about that, right? Mechanical engineering, boom. Some of them even have videos, right? That you all can look at and see. This even had video here, right? Which is only about a minute and a half video. So good resources there in the career research and skill building. And lastly, before we finish up, the employment opportunities and resources section. Here we have links to other web pages for other departments at the college, such as apprenticeships, such as student employment, right? They're actually under our missions and records and financial aid, areas here at the college. So we have links to go to their direct web pages in another area of the college. And then we also have other resources like BuzzFile, which actually allows you to look at businesses across various industries and the types of majors that they hire. We have information about the career closet here and how to get a hold of folks in the career closet if you want to make an appointment. We have information on college fellowships, internships, and experiential learning. So we have various options as it relates to internships and experiential learning and fellowship opportunities here at the college. One is College Corps, right, in which they recruit for that every spring semester. For those of you who are new students, you might want to look into this great opportunity. That's a paid fellowship opportunity. CALA, which is Community Action Leadership Academy. It's also a paid opportunity that's hosted and facilitated by the CALA faculty coordinator, Pari Kark, one of our political science professors. And then there's other opportunities that individual students can consider as it relates to experiential learning and higher level employment opportunities here and service level opportunities at the college. So this is a good website for folks to consider if they're interested in fellowships and internships. Here's information about Handshake. I mentioned it earlier to you all. This is our job board, right? So students want to create and activate their account. So there's a step-by-step process on how to do that here. And then once you get in there, you set your interests, right? And then it helps you filter down opportunities, whether you're looking for jobs or internships. And for those who are interested in developing resume, cover letter, employment prep resources, you'll navigate to our Career Center Canvas shell, right? And this is where you can see more resources, many more resources. I'm not going to spend time here, but you can see many more resources on our events, on major and career assessment videos, major and career research, labor market research. Here's our information on cover letter and resume resources, and we have some resume templates here. So a lot of great resources in our Canvas shell as well. So with that, I am going to stop sharing, y'all. I know we covered quite a bit there, so thank you all so much.